none other than Greg Pettit, and I hope I can pronounce that correctly. I will unmute the gentleman right now. Let's see if you can hear us all right.
Yeah, I can hear you guys. Can you hear me?
I can hear you fine.
Excellent.
So hopefully everybody else can hear you as well. But now they can also see you. Say hi to the internet, Greg.
Hey, everybody.
Cool. All right. Greg, how about you give a short introduction first of yourself?
All right, so my name is Greg Pettit.
Aha.
A lot of people think it's Petit because I'm from Canada. Of course, there's a lot of French speakers in Canada, so I get that confusion a lot, but it's actually Pettit.
All right.
I'm in Ottawa, Canada. I started yo-yoing about 2 years ago. I have a family with a wife and 2 kids who seem to enjoy my yo-yoing and sometimes annoyed by my yo-yoing as well. And yeah, I'm a software developer during the day and yo-yo player all night. That's me.
All right. So you already said you're not like an old veteran when it comes to yo-yoing.
Yeah, it's been about 2 years, and it's funny because that's one of the things that you get a lot of comments on as an older player. I play anywhere, so I'll play in fast food lineup or just on the sidewalk or wherever, and I get a lot of comments, people saying, "Yeah, keeping young, aren't you?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I guess I am. I'm keeping young."
All right. So was that like the first time you picked up the yo-yo 2 years ago, or have you been? Did you play as a kid as well?
So yeah, when I was a kid, we had in Canada, yo-yo is a trademark name, and so I had a yo-yo that said yo-yo on it by the company. I think they're actually Papa's Toys, but on the package it's called yo-yo. So I had several of those, and I learned a few basics like walk the dog and rock the baby. I didn't even learn Eiffel Tower back then, so I think I had those 2 tricks and a couple of inside loops, and that was about it.
Okay, and what?
That's I'd say probably about 12 years old maybe.
All right.
And I liked it well enough. I mean, I liked it enough to go out. Almost every week I would go out and buy a new one of these. They're basically Imperial yo-yos. I would sand them down and I would custom paint them. I mean, I thought I was the Eddie Van Halen of wooden yo-yos or something. But at some point in time, I think I didn't know you could get replacement string, and I had probably torn up all of the axles from trying to get the string out with a steak knife or something like that. And so I was out of yo-yos, and then they just sort of sat in a drawer. And many years later, I picked it up again.
All right. So how did you make the transition into modern day yo-yoing?
It was. I mean, it was a bit of a surprise. I didn't know there was modern. Oh, my family's home. Come here for a second. Say hi to the camera.
Hi.
That's my oldest. He likes yo-yoing too, right?
All right, cool.
So yeah, I made the transition. Actually, it was his inspiration. We had stopped by a toy store on the way home from where we were one day, and I just saw this display with some Omega yo-yos just lined up there, and one of them was a Brain Wing XP, I think it was called. And I thought to myself, with a shape like that, I should be able to land a man on a flying trapeze, which I never could do as a kid. I thought, I'll land man on the flying trapeze, I'll show Rock the Baby to my son, and I'll be a yo-yo hero. Now, at that point in time, I didn't know there was modern yo-yoing still. So I got home, I unpackaged a yo-yo, I opened the trick book, and sorry about the dog noise. I don't know if it's super loud over there, but my dog's barking too. Anyway, I looked at the trick book, and I actually remembered, I flashed back to being 12 years old, and I thought to myself, this is the problem I had back then too, is that the trick book, I just couldn't understand it. I couldn't figure out how to do a UFO based on the pictures and instructions they had. So not being able to do a UFO from the book, I ended up going online, of course, and as soon as you type in yo-yo tutorial into YouTube, you're going to end up with all kinds of stuff popping up on your screen. So in addition to a couple of tutorials I saw, I remember distinctly seeing the Boingy Boing tutorial from Andre Boulay, and a couple other tutorials, and then also the 2010 Jensen Kimmett World's Performance. And so, my mind was blown, and I thought, I'm going to do more than just learn UFO here. I'm gonna figure out what's going on with the rest of this yoyoing stuff, this modern yoyoing, and it kind of snowballed from there.
All right. Yeah, that brings back some good old memories from my period. I also started like 2.5 years ago, and I had a yo-yo as a kid as well, and so yeah, it was really shocking to me that yo-yos are really, the aluminum ones are really expensive and everything. And I thought I'm never going to buy one of those because I will ding it as soon as it touches my hand. So there was a lot of respect of that for the modern yo-yos. Yeah, what was your reaction when you kind of dive deeper into that world?
It was pretty crazy for me too. I mean, once I realized, I didn't even really understand what a bind return was at first. So even though I knew there was modern yo-yoing, even though I had seen Jensen Kimmett, doing his thing, I still didn't quite realize that I needed a whole different kind of yo-yo. So I went on to YoyoExpert, and I started asking some questions. And of course, everybody on the forum was quite friendly and answered the question. And I discovered pretty quickly that I needed something that was able to do what they called a bind return. So I needed an unresponsive yo-yo. And so I went to the store, of course, and looked around, and I got some serious sticker shock. I thought, oh my God, how do people pay this much for a yo-yo? And so eventually, I thought I was spending quite a bit of money by settling on a Dark Magic 2. Sorry, no, the Dark Magic 2 came next. First, before I even decided to go that far, I got the Yo-Yo Factory New Velocity. So it's a plastic yo-yo that you could tune to be unresponsive. And then I thought, this is great, but I think if I step it up to the next level, that'll be enough for me, that'll be enough yo-yo for me. I'll get something with metal rims and still plastic. It's not too expensive. So I got the Dark Magic 2. And once I got that, of course, another lovely yo-yo, but then people were saying, you need something with no wall in the gap and this, that, and the other thing, and you might as well try a full aluminum. So then I got a budget metal yo-yo, which was a capless, because I'm still thinking these things are pretty expensive. So I had a C3 capless as my first real new retail price metal yo-yo for, I think they retailed for, were they $50 or $60, I think. And I think at that point in time, I had enough yo-yo, and I knew I had enough yo-yo, but I was just hooked anyway. And so the price didn't really seem to matter anymore, because by this point in time, I knew I was going to be sticking to it, and I knew I liked yo-yos. I enjoyed the metal yo-yo, and I wanted more of them. And so I stuck around YoyoExpert from that point on, and I started buying yo-yos. So,
all right, yeah.
First, and eventually I came around, I guess.
All right. Again, a lot of similarities, and I know my girlfriend can talk forever about she calls it a buying obsession. I would just call it a collector's love of these little spinning toys. So that's a different perspective right there.
Yeah. It's funny. For me, it's a lot of people talk about being collectors, and I do have a fairly sizable collection right now. I think I have about 30 metal yo-yos plus various others. But I don't actually collect mine to collect them. I collect them because I feel like I want to play them all, Like I want to know what they all play like and what their different characteristics are and the different feel in the hand. And I'm under no illusion that they're necessarily going to make me a better player, but I just find it interesting how differently different yo-yos can play.
Yeah, I had a similar thing where I thought, I have no clue what these yo-yos play like. So I don't have a preference. So I got a bunch of used ones on the forums and everything, and went from there, and then kind of got into, buying more and even new stuff, and just kind of expanding from there. So it was kind of an exploring period for me.
Exactly. Yeah. I did the same thing with bearings and also with string. So.
All right. Well, I still have to cover that. So you're kind of ahead of that. To me, but you already mentioned the YoyoExpert Forum, and you have a special status there. Is that correct?
Sort of, yeah. So I'm called a forum expert. If you see next to my profile, if you're ever on the forums, has a little title underneath my name. It says Forum Expert. It's really what it is just it's not a moderator position. I don't have any special powers or privileges on the forum. It's literally just that that title underneath my name, and I think I can delete my own posts.
Ooh.
It's my main power. I have all this power now. I get asked every now and then to do moderator things. People send me a private message, can you please moderate this? And I always have to reply, sorry, I have this little title, but that's it.
Okay.
What it is really is it's just Andre and his staff. It's just their way of recognizing people that they feel are positive contributors, who go above and beyond on the forum. And I believe he only selects one a year at most. And
okay.
So somebody who for the previous year really stuck out as being a positive contributor, he picks them. He awards us a gift certificate, which of course, who doesn't want to buy more yo-yos if you're already a forum? So you get a gift certificate, you get the title, and then you get the private messages asking if you can moderate a thread. That's about it.
All right, cool. So, but you're right. If you've been to the YoyoExpert Forum, Greg P is pretty much everywhere, which is really cool because you have some really cool input and some good insights into the thing. And even though you've been only there for a couple of years, so like 2 years, it's really cool.
Just over 2, yeah. I have, and anyone who's on the forum knows that's actually an embarrassing number of posts, but I'm just a compulsive person that way. I used to be into audio recording, so recording guitar and vocals and that sort of thing. And so I was on a popular audio recording forum, and it was the same story. There's something about interacting with the community that I find that to be maybe not quite as much of an addiction as the yo-yo itself, but a very close second. So interacting people and sharing what I know and learning new things. I mean, as much as I share, I'm on there asking questions as much as anybody else as well.
Right. Okay. Which is cool because that's how you learn, kids. It's by asking questions and getting the right answers. And YoyoExpert Forum is certainly a good place to go to get some answers and ask some questions. All right, but another thing that you did on the forum is organize a contest, and some people really try to do a contest on the forum, but yours was a little bit different. What exactly was it? So
going back to how you mentioned earlier that I'm not exactly I'm a new player but not a young person. Basically, what it came down to is I was talking with my friend Jamie, who on the forums is known as Yo Old Man, and we were sort of joking back and forth about how every now and then people threw up these video battles, and they weren't necessarily always full-blown contests, but they were video battles where the young guys would square off against one another and collect votes, and the most votes wins the battle. And there's not usually a prize for those sort of things; it's just a bragging rights kind of thing, and so we sort of agreed with each other that with our level of skill and compared to the young people on the forums, we were likely to get destroyed by almost anybody who stepped up to us. And I don't know if that's the case now, because remember, this is quite a while ago. We were both only at about a year of playing. And so Jamie and I believe it was his idea originally. He challenged me to a show your best skills after 1 year of playing contest. So we were both at roughly a year. He challenged me to this battle, and we decided we were going to put it up on the forums and solicit votes. And maybe it'll be a laugh for these other people who are so much more talented than us to see what it's like to be an older guy throwing yo-yo after only a year. So that's sort of how it got rolling. And then I was talking about that sort of little battle with a couple of other friends, and they seemed interested in it. So I thought, well, we can make this into a 3 or a 4-way battle and do it that way. And by the time I think I was up to 5 or 6 people interested, I thought to myself, hey, do you guys, and this was all still private still, and I said, hey, do you guys mind if I open this up to the forums? Because I know there's other older players on the forums, and maybe they'd be interested too. So, one thing just sort of organically led to another. For my professional career, I've done marketing, I've done trade show organization, so I guess I must have had the skills for throwing that sort of thing together, and to take it a little bit beyond the informal stage. I think my child just got injured downstairs.
Uh-oh.
He's with his mother, so I'm not ignoring him. I'll continue the interview. He's in good hands with his mother. Um, so the battle anyway. So I put it out there. I started a thread. Said, hey guys, here we are. We're a bunch of older players. Why don't you submit your videos? I came up with the timeline. Do it within this month or whatever it was, within this next 4 weeks. And it wasn't until it was more formal that I started soliciting a few prizes from people. I contacted Andre for the first year. I said, hey, I know you probably get these requests all the time, but do you mind supporting this contest? And then there was a few of the other sort of local businesses that wanted to be a part of it. I shouldn't say local businesses, but like the forum. You know how there's a few of these young entrepreneurs on the forum, and they want to contribute as well. So I had Unknown Strings on board and a few other people. I should have made a list before the interview, but unfortunately I don't have one. Anyway, so that first year, it just took off. Sorry if I'm rambling, this is how I am. But after the contest took off, we had not only a lot of participants, but a lot of interested viewers. And so at the end of the contest, they said, you really need to do that again next year. And so for 2014, I held it again at roughly the same time. Contacted all the original contestants and saw if they were on board. Obviously put the thread out there for the public and decided to break it into 2 divisions. There's the people coming up on a year, and then the people who have a certain level of experience. People who consider themselves more than just a beginner thrower. So, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's old folks. I called it the old folks who can sort of throw battle. Because the first year was mainly people who were at about 1 year. So we could sort of throw. We were more than just beginners, but we weren't, these superstar throwers. And then I think the consensus now that we're going to be all up on our 3rd year is that we'll change the name for next year. We'll see what we call it. I'll be right back. Hold on.
All right.
I'm still here. I haven't gone away.
Okay. So you're planning another round here. It's really cool because with the prizes and the sponsorship involved, it really becomes a very professional looking contest. So it's not, one of those little things where people say, oh, hey, let's try something, hand in videos, and then we decide who wins. But there's actually a little bit more thought behind it, and a really neat concept.
Well, it should, and I should mention the sponsors for this past year. We had YoyoExpert on board again, of course. One Drop Yoyos donated a couple Valors. Yomega threw in a Darth Vader yo-yo, which was awesome. That was the Glide.
Right.
We had the very first donor was actually Two Sick Yo-Yos, which is an independent company. He offered me one of his gambits to give away. And so we did that as a raffles. And the reason we did the raffle is so that even people who they weren't confident that they would win the whole contest or even place top 3, they would still have some sort of incentive to submit a video because they might win a nice metal yo-yo out of it. And we had, a couple of we had a couple of people from the previous year as well. We had Unknown Strings back on board. So I could give out string packs to anybody who entered. So anybody who submitted a video could enter. Anyway, I believe I'm missing 1 or 2 people, but I believe that covers the main ones. And next year we're going to do more of the same. And I know I've talked to Andre, who's interested in seeing where the contest goes. And we're going to talk a little bit more when the time comes closer. And I don't know if that means that there's going to be an even larger sponsorship presence from YoyoExpert. I really don't know.
All right.
All I know is it means that Andre and the people at YoyoExpert are very interested in supporting the contest, which is great.
Which is awesome. One of the funny things I noticed in the discussion around the contest is how do you actually define somebody being old? So there was a lot of thing going back and forth, like where does old really start? It's really interesting or really funny to see how like people in their 20s, mid-20s even said, oh, am I old enough already as well to join this contest? Normally they would just say, no, I'm young and everything, but now everybody wanted to be old. So that was really funny to see.
Yeah, it was, I mean, the very first year I left it intentionally ambiguous. First of all, because I didn't think it would take off like that. I didn't think it was going to be like a big contest like that. And second of all, because I like to let people identify themselves, and if people even in their 20s felt that they were part of the quote unquote older crowd, if they didn't necessarily relate to the younger people, but could relate to us, then maybe this was the right contest for them anyway. We're going to look at that for next year, though. We did it the second year, and it was honestly, in the private message conversations I had, there was a lot of confusion, and I don't want to say there were hurt feelings, because there weren't. Everyone were pretty awesome, but I could tell a few people didn't like that ambiguity. They wanted to either have me say, yes, you're old enough, or no, you're not.
Right.
And I think to make more people more comfortable next year, I might be imposing an actual age limit.
Okay.
That's undecided. We'll see. I really like the ambiguity, but as you may guess, as contests like this grow, it becomes less about you, the organizer, and more about everybody else that's involved.
Right. And especially with all these prizes, it's, as soon as prizes are involved and you've got some really cool ones, people really try to optimize their winning chances, which is, perfectly fine. But at the same time, it means more involvement for the organizers as well, to make sure that everybody is happy.
Yeah, there was only one. Everyone's very nice. Everybody in this whole community is very supportive and very nice and very accommodating. And even the person I'm about to mention was also very pleasant as well. But there was one person I had to outright say no to. And I think it was because of the richness of the prizes. And this person was looking to be a contestant. And I had a feeling not only were they young in terms of years, but they also seemed to fit into the younger scene.
Okay.
And so when he asked, I said, I don't think I said no to him. I said, I'm not going to say no, but I really don't know that will go well with the public perception if you're in the contest.
Yeah, right.
Left it to him to decide, and he decided not to enter.
All right. Which is cool. Have you seen that Weird has actually run a contest for people of age 40 plus as well recently?
I saw the one by Rewind. Is that the one you're thinking of?
Oh, it was Rewind. Sorry. Yeah, right.
Yes, I saw that. That's awesome.
It is, isn't it? Just
great.
Giving more power to the senior citizenship of yoyoing.
Absolutely. And I had every intention of entering that contest as well. I think it might still be open. Is it still on? Do you know?
To be honest, I don't know.
I'm not sure either. Anyway, I had every intention of entering that, and it's just a combination of things that stopped me. It wasn't anything to do with anything other than scheduling time and commitment. It's really hard for me to make a video in the first place.
Yeah.
And to make one for a contest that was fairly high profile like that was a bit of a stretch. Even making the video for my own contest was tricky, and I may not do that next year.
But it was cool, your video, so it was worth the work.
It's controversy as well. The first year, because it was originally meant to be a contest between myself and Jamie, I felt I needed to enter a video, or else the whole thing was for nothing. So I entered a video, and when I won, well, I tied with BPG from the forums, and I tried my very best to just give the whole prize to him, because I felt wrong about taking anything.
Right.
And like I said before, people in the community are so accommodating that he said, no, forget about it. And then Andre actually stepped in and worked something out that we could both receive something. And then this past year, I said right from the beginning that I was going to compete, but not take any of the prizes, which is how it turned out. And I think a lot of people want me to compete next year. A lot of people have said, Greg, I'm going to take you out next year. Just wait and see. So I want to compete on that level, but I've had some parties saying that, hey, you know what, maybe it's time to step down and just organize it. So I haven't decided on that yet either.
All right. So, but I think the good news for now is that they're planning to have another contest next year, because I think it enriches the whole scene and just pulls in more people into the community than through normal contests. So that's really appreciated.
Well, I appreciate that comment. Thank you.
All right. Okay. Well, Greg, thanks very much for that insight in your yo-yoing and into the contest. For those of you who haven't checked it out yet, do you have a special channel? No, it's probably best to search for the old guys who sort of can throw a thread on the YoyoExpert Forum for the videos, right?
Whenever I need to look it up, if I need to find, you know, any of the old videos from this year, or contact anybody, or look up any of my details, I always go to the search bar. So there's a search button in the main navigation. You can pick store or forums.
Right.
You pick forums, and then you type in, and I call it actually old folks because there were a couple ladies who were interested in entering. And so it's old folks sorta throw 2014 for this year, and that worked out well. Or you can just drop me a private message on YoyoExpert if you have an account. It's just Greg P, and I'll hook you up with the information you need.
All right, awesome. So again, thanks for your time. Really appreciate that, and we're looking forward to the next round of old folks who can sort of throw 2015.
All right. Well, thanks for inviting me to the show, Andreas. It's been an honor.
All right.
Right.
Bye-bye then.
Bye.
Thanks for watching this video. Please like it and also leave a comment. Make sure to subscribe to the channel where you can find the full Throwlicious live episode of this video, and check out the other clips and episodes there as well. Finally, get more information about the show and the Spin Central channel on Facebook, Twitter and Ask.fm. I always love to hear from viewers what they think of the show, so don't be a stranger and stay in touch.